We as a group here in Rutherglen got together the major 8 producers of muscat and formed what we call the Muscat of Rutherglen Network. And we decided that we would try and relaunch Muscat and Tokay. And the steps we took in doing that was first to come up with the criteria of the styles of Muscat and Tokay, because we all had our own different styles, and these wines can be drunk equally as well as a young wine or as an old wine. So we came up with a 4-stage classification system after much tasting and mucking around, and the classifications, the entry level is Rutherglen Muscat, or Rutherglen Tokay, then the next is the Classic, the next is Grand, and the next is Rare. Classification system is the way in which Muscat, Tokays and Tawny Port are sold, and they're judged that way in the shows as well. So that's that part of it. We also have a little emblem which I can't see them. It's just a little R in a circle, and it just says either Muscat of Rutherglen, yeah, it's on the back label, Muscat of Rutherglen or Tokay of Rutherglen at this stage. And that guarantees the authenticity of that wine, that at least 85% of the product in that bottle must be made from Rutherglen fruit.
So it's a bit like an appellation.
It is an appellation.
Yeah.
Is there a certain aging requirements in the different categories?
No, we base it on quality,
Okay.
and that's caused more debate than anything. Some people want age, some don't. And our view there is that our reasoning is, if we talk about as a producer's guide, that the Rutherglen classification should look like a 5-year-old wine, the Classic like a 10-year-old, the Grand around about a 15-year-old wine, and then the Rare in excess of 20 years average age. And the reason we don't have an age on it, and that will eventually come, I think, probably not while I'm around, is that you could have a tank of Tokay or Muscat, split it in half, put half in barrels, bigger barrels on the bottom here, put the other half in small barrels up near the roof. Within 5 years, 5 years' time, you'll have totally different wines just because of heat exchange. Because the oxidation, let's just talk about the Solera. If we just focus on the Solera system we have over here, that gives you a bit of guide, and I won't have to tell anyone here, I'm sure, about how Solera works. The stage 1, which is at the bottom, is where we take the wine from for bottling, and we take only out small percentages at a time. We might take out, for our Rutherglen Muscat, the cheaper one, we might take out 5 times a year from that Solera. We'd only ever take out a maximum of between 10 and 20% at a time, so that when Solera 2 tops it up, it catches up to it quite quickly. Of it, and we've had a trade-out period of the name Tokay for a 10-year trade-out period. So about 3 years ago we did what we call a fortified project, and we set up a committee which I chaired, and we were able to obtain $500,000 from the federal government to do research on the fortified wine sector and to come up with 2 new names, one for Tokay and one for sherry. The name we came up with for Tokay is Topay, and it's only in the last 2 weeks that we've finally got that registered. So now we start calling Tokay, as it was, Topay, and we've got our first shipment to leave for the UK later this week as Topay. So it's a new wine, new name for as far as we're concerned to the EU. So let's just run through it. Not Tokay itself. Made from a grape variety of Muscadel, and it's a white grape, and that's about it. It's a fair, reasonably neutral variety, and the characters we look for in a Topay are aromas such as cold tea, or sometimes can be a bit like a fish oil aroma, and as they develop and get older, they obviously become more complex, and they'll take on Some things as toffee, coffee aromas,